Welcome to the start of the 2023 Las Vegas Challenge presented by Innova Disc Golf. This is the first Elite Series event of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here on the Gatekeeper media coverage by Nathan Queen.
Yeah, and excited to be back. Las Vegas Challenge has been starting the season for these players for quite a few years now. And we've actually gotten to change to 2 courses this year, so a bit of a layout change. Looking forward to what these players are going to do with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Today we are going to be playing the Millennium course. We'll also play that on Saturday in round 3, and the Innova course in rounds 2 and 4. And as noted, this is the first Elite Series event of the 2023 season, but there were a couple silver events that carried over in late 22.
Yeah, and you've got yourself up there on the points leaderboard so far.
Yeah,
jumping straight into these bag checks. We've got Jeremy Koling putting with the Firefly. Going to see that new mid-range, the J, and then probably a lot of destroyers and that Halo Boss out here in the open.
Yeah, absolutely. A big theme here is that it's going to be pretty windy, so Joel is going to rely on his Gators, his Firebirds, and a very overstable destroyer. And he putts with his zeros.
Yeah, and then Matteo putting with the Judges. He's got the brand new Savior in the bag. That could be a good thing for the wind out here, along with the Rive and the Enforcer. Most likely going to handle that wind pretty well.
For sure. And Gregg Barsby, world champion, he's going to putt KC Pro AVRs and balance forehand and backhand. He's going to mess around with that Boss for his really overstable distance shots.
And brings us straight into the first hole of the Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite season. 390-foot par 3. If you've got the power, you're going to want to pick a mid-range on this shot, as it does slope slightly downhill.
Right, it's me. Oh, we're doing it right now. Heck yeah. 2023, here we go, baby. 2023, let's go. Yep.
Definitely a chatty card here. Big Germ chief among those. And a big theme here is that this course kind of goes out and back. So hole 1 is playing with a pretty severe tailwind. A little bit of right to left cross.
Yeah, there's some OB on the right side of the fairway. So if you've got a good overstable fairway driver, that's going to be a good play as well. But speed control, very crucial on this hole.
Would you just wait a second?
You see Jerem missing that speed control a little bit on that one. He's going to be outside of circle 2, it looks like.
Yeah, still rolling when we cut away. Nathan, I know you're left-handed, but have you seen players take that big righty hyzer?
Yeah, I've seen a few players take that big righty hyzer. That's mostly for the guys that have that 550 feet of power and don't feel like backing down.
For sure. We're going to see a little more conventional line out of Joel. He's going to play, I think this is a Gator, trying to get it on Anheuser for a little bit and then just let that mid-range run out of steam at the basket.
Oh, and he does that perfectly. What a smash for a Gator.
Matteo, he's an Alabama boy, so you see he's wearing all of his clothing. Good little nose-up release, but even that's going to run long. He'll be joining Germ on the backside of the green.
Yeah, this is can be a tough hole as far as feeling good, feeling confident to start your round. Because as long as this course is, this is when you feel like you need to get, especially first hole of the year, you're pumped up. You've seen a couple guys go 70 feet long already.
And Barsby, good speed control, runs a little bit left with, I think that was an OLF from Millennium.
Yeah.
And Nathan, from back here, this is this has got to be pretty much pure layup zone, right?
Yeah, off of your point, going away off of the tee pad, you've got that tailwind. So these are both headwind putts coming right back at it. Pretty difficult to run, and both players just kind of getting close for their par there.
Thank you. Good.
Yeah, Gregg catching some float on that one from that headwind. Luckily, the flag saved him, though. Should have a fairly easy tap in. As Joel walking up to his drive, it looks like he's the only one that chose mid-range, and he kept it the closest. Going to get his first birdie of the year at his first opportunity.
Yeah, and Joel told me that he didn't play a whole lot this offseason, but as soon as he got to the All-Stars event last weekend, it's like all of his focus just clicked on. He really likes being adaptable, able to just do that. Hole 2, our first par 4, very open tee shot, and the challenge here is keeping the disc to the right side so that you can access the screen. Basket kind of sits on a spine, very well protected by trees, so it's difficult to find a way in, whether it's skip or over the top. Once again with a tailwind, a little bit of left to right cross. Nathan, how do you manage that kind of wind, knowing that you need the right side for access, but you don't want to run into that out of bounds?
Yeah, with that left to right cross for these right-handed backhands, you're really just going to throw something a bit overstable. Make sure you stay away from that out of bounds. That's going to be the key mistake that you don't want to make. If you drift left, there is a few lines that you can take up there, or even go high forehand on the left side. But overstable, and that wind should really just keep it straight for you.
If you're overstable enough, you can afford to let yourself get an early drift. Matteo gets it back to the hyzer angle, and that'll be near the 500 feet sign.
I think in North Carolina, we might call that one a worm burner.
But yeah, ground play is a significant element out here. Barsby clearly leaking out early, and I think he's going to have to take one of those over-the-top left sides shots that you were speaking of.
Yeah, going to be difficult to do anything on the right side, and you see here he is going straight to that forehand. Looks like he may be going for kind of a flex shot.
It's like he goes rhino to kind of do some speed control, and very fortunate to see the basket. From Germ's perspective, he's just kind of trusting a point in the sky that he can aim at.
And from Germ's perspective right here, that is going to be the difficulty of this hole. Going up in the air when the wind is 20 miles an hour constant and gusting more than that is a difficult thing to place your disc where you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to say whether it's going to swing back or just kind of get slammed. Matteo gets to the backside of the circle. He'll have a look. We'll see what he can do with it.
You see the players bundled up here. The bit of misfortune with the weather the day before the event started. Wind picked up, blew in mid-50s for what seems to be the entirety of the weekend here. So a bit chilly, for Vegas standards.
Yeah, overall the day was pretty pleasant. It was between 40 and 50. This wind, totally throwable in most cases, but there were some times when it was gusting into the, I would guess, high 20s, low 30s, and reasonably sustained direction as well.
It's causing a little bit of trouble on this green so far. Matteo expecting a lift. Looks like Joel's got pushed off to the left just a bit there.
And a good stab by Barsby. You notice he's kind of doing a little different putt than he normally does, kind of putting more across his body with a spin rather than his standard straddle pitch putt.
Yeah, trying to get a little more speed on that disc to counteract that wind.
Is that something you'll mess around with? I know you're a pretty dedicated up to down putter.
I do. I don't necessarily change my arm swing, but I do have a different way to pop it, spin it a little faster, try to get it there through the wind a little quicker. Brings us straight into hole 3, 359-foot par 3. Main thing about this hole is that mound directly off of the tee pad. It kind of plays for the right-handed backhand. You can throw slightly overstable on a flex shot and let it hyzer back in, or you can just go straight hyzer. If you try the straight shot, there's a low ceiling before you get to the basket.
Nice. Yeah, good shot. Thanks.
And Barsby's disc takes kind of an adventure on the way there, but gets himself to maybe circle 2.
And
Again, a crosswind on this, playing from right to left. So you want to hang your disc out to the right side, but it absolutely has to get back.
as Joel's just
Some good laugh.
using every bit of it to get on back, he's going to be right around the circle's edge. And going backwards just a bit back to hole 2, I wanted to shout out Eagle McMahon, the first eagle of the year. Putting it in from 49 feet for the 2 on hole 2. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, nice little bonus for him.
All right, maybe the desert did a little duty to it.
And Koling unable to swing that back in. He kind of gets no love off the guardian tree on the corner.
Yeah, and he had to be really close to that OB line. The path in front of the tee pad is in bounds, but once you get far enough right, it does turn out of bounds, and it looks like he's right there at that line.
And for a 70-foot upshot, that's a sneaky tough one for Matty O. You can see how much velocity he put just to stab it underneath the branches. And a good approach by Koling. He'll be looking at a tap-in 4.
Yeah. Great work, Greg.
All right, Gregg Barsby with the first back-to-back birdies of the year on 2 and 3, putting into a pretty significant win there.
So good.
Hey guys, Big Jerm here. Just want to take a quick second to thank the guys and the companies that helped make this whole disc golf thing work for me. First and foremost, got to thank Innova Champion, Pound Disc Golf Packs, Schaefer Sports. Got to thank Dynamic Brands, which supplies my quad cart push cart, which I love. Got to thank Johnny Fly Eyewear. There's so many, I can't remember them all, but I want to thank them all so much for helping me. And obviously, last but not least, got to thank Jomez Pro. So make sure that you guys are taking all the coverage in, all the companies out there working their butts off to bring the disc golf to you guys at home. Thanks for the support.
The J is our latest mid-range disc. Okay, where the Mako 3 has got a little bit of instability and the Rock's got a little bit more overstability, the J's right between, and you can throw it backhand, you can throw it sidearm, it's good in the wind.
Hole 4, it's a par 3, playing with a little bit of left to right cross. The difficulty here is the basket is perched on the backside of a hill with a bunker in front of the green at about circle's edge. Rather appropriately, we're going to see Barsby throwing a J.
Yeah, right on time.
This is a pretty common play to try to throw to the right side, avoiding the bunker that's directly in front of the basket.
Yeah, and then the forehand that Joel is going with here is more of a park job play. You can really hyzer right into that hill, keep yourself from going long.
Thank you.
Just like that. He's going to be in that 20-foot range there.
And Matty-O, you see this disc is on hyzer, but it's still drifting a little bit to the right. Really neat example of wind play there, and he'll be rewarded with a fairly close putt, it would seem.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite shots to watch right there. On a slight hyzer, but moving straight, kind of pushing right even the entire flight. And Germ bringing that bunker into play and just barely sneaking it over there. He's going to be in a similar spot to Joel. Bet you he was a bit nervous on that release.
Yeah, absolutely. And not a great reward for Mattio's very complex shot. He kind of finds the very intrusive tree on the backside.
Germ able to bounce back pretty quickly after that bogey. Gets the next hole. Put him back to even on the round. Joel with his 4th birdie opportunity already. Let's see if he can connect on this one.
Joel is such a dangerous thrower with that combination of forehand and backhand. And I think because he likes to use overstable discs, his throwing isn't really affected by the wind. But he's kind of messed around with his putting stroke over the last year or so. So we'll see how he's able to adapt.
Yeah, it is nice to already be comfortable throwing overstable plastic. Definitely makes a difference if you're comfortable with that feeling and know what it's going to do in the wind. You can really learn a lot in your practice rounds that way. And brings us on to hole 5. Hardest par 3 so far, 470 feet. You've really got to make the decision whether you want to lay up short of this green or try to attack the basket, where you're going to need probably 430 to 440 feet of power to get across. But if you go too far, you've got a steep drop-off right behind it as well.
With this tailwind, I would be genuinely surprised if anybody on this card tried to lay up, because it's pretty hard to throw 300 and 170 and execute both. I would bet that everyone's going to take the chance of trying to get somewhere near pin high and then either putt or lay up.
Yeah, I could see that with the tailwind as well. And Germ just too low. That's all that really was. He had a good angle on it. I think it was going to come back pretty quickly. It was just too low.
This might actually be a layup play from Barsby. He plays it center cut. And I will note, if anybody's interested in houses in the Las Vegas area, the large house, including a pool and water slide on the right side of this hole, has a for sale sign on the fence, although Zillow had it listed at $2.1 million, but not on the market.
Yeah, better hurry up and get on it. And let's watch this drive again from Matty O. Is going for it, using that tailwind. Look how fast that disc is carrying that 470 feet.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous throw, using the green to his advantage. Barsby kind of doing the same thing. Good ground play.
Yeah, showing you the way that the majority of the field, I say, should play this hole. Just pitch up, pitch up.
Yeah, the hole stats for this one are a little bit deceiving. It's definitely going to score in between a 3 and a 4, and even more so when the wind is squirrely. So not super shame in taking a 4.
Yeah, and we've got Matty O with the lone 2 opportunity on our card. And just didn't quite get that headwind lift that he was wanting, putting uphill into that headwind. Difficult to really commit to that nose up, and doesn't quite connect for the 2. But we only had 4 2s out of the entire MPO field on the day. Anthony Barella, Gannon Burr, Cameron Messerschmidt, and Tyler Wozniak. So great 2s to you guys. Strokes on the whole field.
Far more 4s and 5s, I reckon.
Definitely so. We even have some triples in there.
No thanks. Hole 6, pretty straightforward par 4. There is out of bounds to the left that's a little bit intrusive, and much further to the right out of bounds with some fences and backyards. Going to be playing with a tailwind, and once you're set up, hopefully in the open, the basket is perched on a mound between a couple trees. Honestly, one of the most forgiving greens on this entire course.
Yeah, I agree with that. One of the more forgiving holes. There's lots of room. Even that OB on the right side is very forgiving. There's a little bit of like rock and soft dirt area that if you land in, your footing could be a little bad on the right side. But other than that, you can pretty much open up on this one.
Yeah. Don't really like the look of that.
Oh, yeah,
It does appear to have checked up, though.
very close to that cart path over there.
Point of emphasis on this drive is that you need to make sure your disc is moving right for quite a while. You see Barsby plays with some height, but never quite gets it over. But he does start it right enough that it will work.
Yeah, gets kind of a roll over there to a similar area as Joel. You'd prefer to be a little bit farther right, but pending that little small tree that you saw them around, they should have a fairly open look towards the pin.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of bad places if you're inbounds and have thrown it, 400, 450. And I would expect with the proficiency of forehands on this card, we're going to see mostly forehands approaching the green just to play with stability.
Yeah, and should be kind of a tailwind on this hole, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
So-
A little bit off the right shoulder, which does mean that discs that are fading are going to fade hard. Koling
Oh my
gets
goodness.
all of the shot. All of the shot.
Yeah, he got a hold of that one. That's going to be in the 550 range, I believe. Yeah, side by side beside this little tree. And again, we see it a bit low, but the ground play working out to get him farther than you expect the shot to go. Still not what he wanted, though.
I love throughout watching that shot, you can hear Barsby laugh and cackle at himself and just like how weird disc golf is. I caught up with him after and he kept remarking on like how much he loves this game. And some of that was like reminding himself as we see a perfect approach from Joel. Great speed control, great angle. Some of that was reminding himself that like you have to just embrace the chaos on a day like this.
Yeah, on days like this, whenever you've got those gusty conditions, you can let go of the shot exactly how you want it to, and a wind gust 3 feet out of your hand is going to make it do something similar to what Gregg's did, So, good point of view there, to just kind of embrace it, do what you can with it.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to Gregg's maturity as a touring player. He's been doing this just about as long as anybody on the road right now. And he told me that himself and Philo are reviving the high energy tour, doing some teaching, doing some fun stuff, fun side games in between tournaments.
And that should be a fun thing to look forward to for a lot of people, as Germ definitely not looking forward to that par tapping he has after that smash of a drive that he put out there. But Matty O with the nice birdie putt, finally getting some green on the card.
Gregg in for his par. That'll leave Koling for his par tap. And Joel for his birdie. And as players come around this corner, it joins up with hole 12, and you can feel the headwind. You know what you're going to have to play back into.
This looks perfect. Off the basket. Now it's rolling. It's headed for the OB. This needs to sit. Oh my goodness. It's safe. Right on the line. She's going to have about a 30-foot putt for the win. Okay, here we go. The putt is up. Boom, it's in. Strong side with authority. What an incredible moment. Yes.
takes us into hole 7. A new hole for the course this year. 315 feet, low ceiling off the tee, low ceiling towards the green. A little bit of room out left and a little bit of room out right, but just low straight shot, I believe, is going to be the best play.
Certainly with these conditions, there is a forehand or lefty line out to the left as we see Joel pull it over way too far. That could be jungle territory. But the OB line is pretty intrusive on the left, so I expect the righty backhand gap shot.
Ooh, Maddie.
Oh, baby.
Nice touch.
Nathan, tell me about how Matty's using his nose angle there.
Yeah, using that nose angle just slightly up to let that wind just push it down the fairway, make sure it pushes straight, and then once it loses speed, has that little slow fade towards the end.
Yeah, this is the interesting wind where if you get the nose down, the flight plate is being lifted and it's hard to make it stop at 315.
And we see Jerem gonna play with this OB line over here.
And I couldn't tell if that stayed out. The tree kick certainly wasn't favorable.
Wow, what an overstable disc.
Color Glow Gator. Joel swears by him. He's got usually 3 or more in the bag.
I believe it. That's probably what he tried to throw off the tee as well.
This seems ambitious.
This seems like a Barsby type of throw-in right here, too.
I knew it was either the tree or the tree.
Oh.
Oh, and that was, he needed that one to kind of keep his momentum going there. That would have saved his par.
Yeah, if you're Joel, like already we're on hole 7 and you're starting to lie awake in bed at night thinking about what could have been.
Yeah, he had a birdie putt on those first 4 holes, capitalized on 2 of them. And he's going to end up putting together a 3-putt here on hole 7 to card the double bogey.
Matty-O, such a unique putting style, able to spin it in there. Certainly well earned after the drive.
Yeah, hit that gap cleanly, had that speed control down.
On hole 8, this first tree provides a low ceiling, and then carrying the green is essential. Even though it's 402 feet, the severe tailwind makes it really hard to stop this. Out of bounds long, and a pretty steep drop-off afterwards as well.
I think this hole is another one that's going to favor those players that can get that mid-range out there, 400 feet or so, where you have that straight flight with the green right in front of it. That mid-range, if you hit it flat, it's just going to slide right across.
Yeah, Matty-O tries to play the overstable fairway. I think that was a felon, and you could just see how much speed it still had hitting the ground.
And unfortunately caught that cart path over on the left side. Gregg has hung this one farther out right, but beginning to push quickly. Oh!
Wow.
Please tell me that's not rolling OB. Don't roll OB.
That's one way to slow it.
Yeah, Germ is right. That's one way to slow it down. Look at this shot. Driven out to the right, still high. And a good thing the bucket got in the way.
Well, it still ends up at the bottom of the hill, but could definitely have been OB over on the left side. Incredible shot from Gregg there, almost carding our first ace of the year.
And Koling This is burning out. You got to hit those greens with edge.
And for the second time, he's going to find himself on one of those ball golf greens.
Joel told me he was thinking about going Gator, and he went Gator, but the whole time he was thinking, man, is this crazy? 400 feet?
I think it's crazy. When I'm saying mid-range, I'm not talking about a Gator. However, Joel is proving it's not that crazy. He's up there, closest one of the group.
Yeah, this is gorgeous. Annie release, gets the drift, hits the green, and a lot of times hitting the green is desirable because, 30, 40 feet beyond that is where the basket is located. You use the green to take your speed off instead of hitting at the basket like you would on, a woodsy course.
Right. Pretty much all of the holes out here, you have to account for 30 to 40 feet of extra slide or ground play than what you would typically see at most courses, because this grass, there's no type of grabbing going on.
And a nice get for Barsby. Yeah, Philo's calling that bump and run.
There we go.
Where you're thinking less about, about your landing point than how you get there.
Nice bounce back.
Want to give a shout out to everybody down in the I-10, down in Bama. Also want to give a shout out to Dynamic and Westside for everything they do for me. And just want to thank everybody that supports me buying my Westside Signature Series disc, and see y'all soon.
And that moves us into hole 9, 417-foot par 3. Pretty difficult hole to access, and then I believe they've made some changes this year where this rock area up around the green is OB as well.
Yeah.
So pretty much I'm going to call some layups here. It's going to be pretty difficult to attack this green and not expect to go out of bounds.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens if you're attacking here.
Yeah.
It's not really a true island because there is a little pathway to the basket, but we're also playing back into the headwind. This might be an attacking shot by Joel. He might just be trying to get to the mouth and then, maybe have a little putt over.
Yeah, he has hung that out wide. If it was an attacking shot, he did so very safely. But this seems, first round, first day, this seems to be not one that you would want to attack.
It's probably not worth it because the island is small, you're playing into a headwind, and there's kind of trees in the way. So I certainly, observing other groups, was seeing a lot of, pitches to maybe 60 feet if you did it perfectly. Koling powering up, but even that's going to be an obstructed putt across.
All right, so now that we've seen the 4 drives, hardest hole of the day today, averaging over half a stroke above par. Matteo laying up there nicely, gonna tap in his 3.
That's so butter from Matteo. Able to throw the spinny, overstable Anheuser and never let it get back past flat.
In a headwind.
Gregg.
And Gregg Barsby throwing the disc twice, but still getting a 3 after being a little aggressive off of the tee pad there. That may have been the only person that threw this hole in 2 strokes. There were absolutely 0 twos on this hole.
And that's kind of a theme here. Like, as we go back into the headwind, the holes are going to get harder. And Nathan, do you look at scores in a round like this when weird things are happening?
No, not usually. There's so much different factors in who is scoring and how things could be scored, especially the first round of the event. Usually when it's this windy like this, you just know things are going to be tight. Do your best to stay towards the top.
For sure. And we've got 3 players under par, which is keeping them, hovering in that top 30 or so. We certainly hope you'll join us on the back 9. And we appreciate Gatekeeper's sponsors, Patreons, and other folks who like, share, subscribe, and support our work. Nathan, look forward to seeing you on the back.
Yeah, I've enjoyed calling this for you guys, and we'll see you guys out there on the back.